This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hello, my fellow revolutionaries, and welcome to the Leadership Revolution. My name is Audrey Prosper. If this is your first time joining us, we want you to know that our vision is to help others discover clarity, embrace vulnerability, and experience freedom in their relationship with others and with God. I know that you're going to receive a word today that will bless you and the people around you. I want to invite you to be fully present when you're listening and judge later, because we actually can't do both at the same time. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to our host, David Prosper. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hi, my friend. My name is David, and I'm your host of the Leadership Revolution. I get the privilege to serve you every other week as your guide. And if this is your first time listening, I want to say welcome to the revolution, my friend. And if you're hearing this and thinking, oh, nah, bro, this ain't for me, I want you to really be encouraged. Because if you can influence someone's thinking or behavior, you, my friend, are a leader. And to the rest of our revolutionaries, thank y'all for being creators, trailblazers, and innovators. Our world needs more people like you, especially in today's time. I have a story that I want to share. And I want you to listen to it. And I want you to hear what speaks to you. Back in 2019, family and I decided to move to Colorado Springs, Colorado from Bradenton, Florida. Although we visited the state of Colorado, we still were unfamiliar with the lay of the land and how to navigate. So before setting out to the trip, I made sure I Googled all the routes, checked out the cheapest gas stations, because your boy is extra frugal. In the Christian world, it's called being a better steward of our finances. And then look up rest stops. The week before we actually packed and moved everything we own, we had to figure everything out as far as U-Haul and how we get there and gas and all of that. So we packed everything up in our U-Haul, packed the car on a trailer, and decided, okay, we're really doing this. We're moving out to Colorado Springs, Colorado from Bradenton, Florida. We had no friends, no family in that city. Just a dream to launch our companies, my wife and I. So the drive, I'm going to be honest with you, the drive was the most amazing and challenging experience I've ever had. The reason why is because the amount of stops that we had was a little vexing than anticipated. And fighting tiredness, sleeping on the side of the road to save money, that was a challenge too, because we didn't get enough rest and the rest wasn't comfortable. But the beautiful experience about all of that was that no matter how many times we wanted to turn back and go back to Florida, we just kept moving forward. Each mile will lead us to our destination. Again, each mile will lead us to our destination. Today we're going to be talking about the path to power. The path to power. And it is found in three ways. The decisions on what you focus on, the decisions on what things mean to you, and the decisions about what to do to create the results that you desire. Again, the path to power focuses on three things. The decision about what you focus on, your decision about what things mean to you, your decision about what to do about those things to create the results that you desire. So let's pray. Dear Dad, I want to thank you for the opportunity to use the gift of speech. Let my words be seeds of inspiration to awaken the places and the people that are listening today and listening later. Let my voice be a vehicle of health, healing, favor, provision, and protection over them. I pray that they would have a receptive heart and an open mind. In Jesus' name I pray. A to the man. So let's get into the show. If I were to ask you right now, where were you 10 years ago? How old were you? What would you say? For me, 10 years ago, I was graduating high school and starting college. That's crazy, right? How fast a decade flies by. Believe I ask myself that all the time. Like, wow, 10 years ago, I was in high school going to college. Now, my question that I want you to ask yourself is, how am I going to live the next 10 years of my life? Right now, I'm currently 28, going to be 29 in a couple months. In 10 years, I'll be 39. I'll be 38, turning 39. Asking ourselves, and I'm asking you to ask yourself this, how am I going to live the next 10 years of my life? How am I going to live today in order to create tomorrow? What am I committing to? What am I going to stand on from now on? What's important to me right now? What would be important to me in the long term? What actions can I take today that will shape my ultimate future? Those are some serious questions that I want you to ask yourself and really reflect on that. Where do I want to be in 10 years? What action am I taking now that's going to create my future? Continue to travel with me as we unpack this a little bit more on the path to power, right? Different actions produce different results. Why? Because any action causes a set of motion that affects, builds on the past effects to move in a different direction. AKA, every action you do, every action I do, every action we do creates a motion that puts us in a definite direction. So that is why different action produces different results. And if you don't set a baseline standard for what you'll accept in your life, guess what? You're going to find it super easy to slip into the behaviors and attitudes or quality of life that is far below what you deserve. And you're probably thinking of that right now. You've probably had that experience where you got into a relationship and you didn't actually explicitly told your partner your expectation, and then the relationship just continued to drift, and there's frustration and there's fighting. Because there was no standard. When we don't establish a standard of what we stand for and accept what we're willing to tolerate, what's a non-negotiable, what's a negotiable, what tends to happen often more times than any is that we slip into behaviors and attitude and the quality of life that it's what we don't deserve. And then you have those conversations like, oh, I don't deserve that. I deserve better. I deserve better pay, a better relationship, everything better. God said better, right? But when we don't have standards, we fall for anything. And right now, you can make a decision. Right now, you have the opportunity to, whether you want to go back to school, master dancing, singing, take control of your finances, learn a new language. If you truly decide, you can do almost anything. And one of my favorite verses that is so empowering to me and so encouraging is Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. What does that mean? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So Christ is the strength part. And I can do it. I'm the vehicle, right? And I truly believe that we can do almost anything if we put our minds to it, using the vehicle and with Christ and being empowered by Christ. So making a decision simply means cutting yourself off any other way. It is burning the boats, right? Oftentimes we get into relationships, we get into agreements, we get into things, and we have a plan B. A plan B doesn't ensure your plan A works, because if plan A doesn't work, guess what? You're going to go back to your plan B, and then you've never really been all in plan A. So making a decision literally means to cut off any opportunities for anything else. And the way we get better at making decisions, guess what? Wait for it, is by making more decisions, right? That's how we get better. We get better through experience and over time. And that's how wisdom is actually achieved. It's learned experiences. And then over time, we get better at making better decisions. And then if we have wise people around ourselves, then we make better decisions more often than any. So information is power when it's acted upon. And repetition is the mother of skill. So it's just not one thing. It's one thing to read a whole bunch of books, listen to a whole bunch of podcasts, get all this information, and have all this head knowledge. That's great. But take all that head knowledge and actually apply it into your life, into our lives. And that's specifically why this show's less than 30, less than an hour, because I want it to be so impactful that you can apply what you actually hear. Because if you're just hearing a whole bunch of information, not doing anything, that doesn't lead to transformation. So information, when it's applied, leads to transformation, and repetition is the mother of all skill. So now we have an understanding that different actions produce different results, and it all starts with a committed decision. Let's dive in deeper to the path of power, right? So that number one is the decision on what you focus on. Number two is the decision on what things mean to you. And number three, the decisions about what to do to create the results that you desire. Those three things will set you up on a path to taking control of your life. So number one, the decision to focus on what's important. So this is most people in our world. Most people jump into the river of life without actually deciding where they want to end up. So you probably heard this phrase, go with the flow, right? A lot of people use that phrase, go with the flow. And what that essentially means is to become part of this mass audience of people who are directed by environment instead of their own values. So everything external is the driving force, not anything internal. Everything external. Let's go with the flow. It's like jumping into the river of life. Now, as a result, these people who typically say, let's just go with the flow, let's see where it goes, they feel out of control. They feel like they don't have any control about their life. It's accepting responsibility for your life instead of going with the flow, choosing where you go, right? And accepting responsibility simply breaks down to response ability. You have the ability to respond. You do not have to know. You no longer have to respond, go with the flow. You can be intentional. If you want to see this go somewhere, say it and not say, let's go with the flow. Number two, your decision about what things mean to you. Your decision about what things mean to you. Your decision about what things mean to you. What things mean to us is a combination of our core values and our unconscious rules. What things mean to us are a combination of two things, our core values and our unconscious rules. And it's also our life values and our references. So these things are important because these things create the explanation of what things mean to us. And the habitual question you have to ask yourself is, how does this align to my purpose? How does this align to my core values? Right? And in order to really understand that, you have to do a lot of reflection. We have to do a lot of reflection and even list out what are some core values that are important to me. Right? What are my life values? What are my references? And references is confirmation. Like who's confirming this thing in our life, right? So if somebody's a singer and then they have fans, that's references. It's the people who are confirming that you're a good singer and that you're a star. And it was something that we have to be mindful as well, is that our emotional states, right? What emotional state are we currently in? And that typically dictates how we perceive the information as being interpreted. And I was talking to one of my partners, and I was talking about the situation and how we can address it. And we talked about how not using the written form of communication, because it leads a lot of gray area and gray space to the receiver. And if the receiver is not in the best emotional state, then they can interpret that based off their emotional state, even though the content is different. So we have to be mindful of our emotional state. And those things, when we are mindful of our core values, our life values, our emotional state, what are we asking ourselves, then we can understand why something means something to us. And then we're able to articulate it to others why it has such a significant meaning. Because there are things in my life that doesn't mean anything to me, but it means something to my wife. There's things that mean something to my partners and our team and our herd. That doesn't mean anything to me. So it's just understanding what's important to us and then able to communicate that to others, hey, this is important to me, right? And then when we understand what's important to others, then we can move forward accordingly. Last but not least, your number 3, your decision about what to do to create the results that you desire. So right now, I want you to decide, what is it that you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? What do you want to become? What do you want to do? What kind of relationships do you want? What kind of finances do you want? What kind of career? Those things are important. Clearly decide what is it that you're absolutely committing to achieving. Commit to it. Burn the boats. Cut every other possibility off. Then decide that you're willing to take massive action today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, right? That oftentimes we hear this new year, new me. That's straight BS. Straight BS. Because what happens after 17 days, statistically proving that everyone stops there, new year, new me. And you may hear the passion that comes from my voice, because I am convicted that until we decide what we're willing to do and take massive action, nothing happens. And we live in this wishful world. Oh, I want to do this. So clearly decide what you want, then take massive action to reinforce that. And you'll continue to change your approach, and you'll learn from what works and what doesn't work. Then you'll see, okay, how can I remove it? Because it first starts with a decision. The path to power starts with a decision. Then it's followed by action. And after that, it becomes an art. It's what works, what doesn't work. It's that, but it's deciding, it's taking action. And here are 3 ways you can be on the path of power, taking control of your life again. It's, again, deciding what you want to focus on, deciding what things mean to you, and deciding what to do to create those results. And I truly believe when whatever we focus on, we give energy to that thing. So if we're focusing on the negativity of life and why things can't work, then what tends to happen, we find reinforcement and we find evidence why it wouldn't work. So I'm encouraging you to focus on why it will work. Why do you believe what you believe? Look at it as if it was already done. Speak into the existence. And Jesus and the book talks about life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you say to that mountain, be removed, and you do not doubt in your heart, it shall happen. So shift the what you focus on. Number 2, deciding what things mean to you. Is it aligned to your purpose? Is it going to be life-giving? If it's not going to be life-giving, don't spend so much time on it. It shouldn't mean anything, but things should mean something to you when it's life-giving. And deciding what you need to do to create those results, because that's important. Deciding what to do to create the results. It's taking massive action, and it's deciding to burn the boats. And I truly believe once you incorporate those 3 things in your life, you're on the path to power. You're on the path to healthy power, to the point where you're in control of your life, where you're in the driver's seat and not in just the passenger seat. So just like our family decided to move from Florida to Colorado in 2019, you can also decide that you can get the life that you want for the next year and the next decade. But it starts today with a decision. So I want to leave you with a leadership challenge. The leadership challenge of today is decide one thing you would do today to improve your life. Decide one thing. What is it? To read a book, to go exercise, to eat a little bit better. Decide one thing that you'll do today that will improve your life. Let's close out in prayer. Dear Dad, I want to thank you for what we got to hear today. Let it penetrate our hearts and our mind. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face shine upon you. May He be gracious towards you. May He give you strength when you're weak, hope when you're discouraged, faith to believe, and joy that's contagious. In Jesus' name. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today. Come back every other Wednesday of each month for a new episode. And I want you to remember something. If we as leaders are to set ourselves apart, we must start by leading through love, which always comes from the heart.
Thank you for listening today. We hope you are blessed. To share your leadership experience, you can text us directly at 414-552-9598. Again, 414-552-9598. And don't forget to subscribe to enjoy more messages just like this one. On behalf of Shepherd Revolution, we look forward to connecting with you every other Wednesday. Now go and revolutionize the way you lead.